Welcome back. T.A. Mahoney, Tales from the Darkside podcast. We are starting it off this year. We've had some hammers the whole time. Pablo with the fence. We've had Brandon from Power Pole. And now I want to introduce everybody to Zeke. He's a new employee. Been here about a year now, right?
Yeah, about a year.
Yeah, and working for Mahoney's, I want to ask you a couple questions. We're going to get into all the power pole repair and all the fun stuff, but what are some of the things that stand out in your mind about working for Mahoney's that you never would have thought when you came to work here?
Well, I don't know. It's kind of funny. It's very different than what I'm used to. So I did 4 years in the United States Marine Corps, overseas in Okinawa, Japan. And that kind of like work environment, it's a lot of young dudes together in one place, and you get a lot of monkey business going on all the time. It's very serious monkey business, really. But here, it's me. I think I'm the second youngest guy here.
Yep.
Everyone here has got about 10 to 15 years on me, but the environment is still kind of the same. There's just a
lot of flim-flam,
a lot of flim-flam, a lot of jokes, but
tell us about some of them.
It's been,
some of them that stand out that we can talk about with the people, not the ones we're not supposed to talk about.
Well, you got the ghost of Billy Ferry. You know, he's paranormally attached to Pete.
Yeah.
And lights his butt on fire there.
Yeah.
We got a couple videos of those out going on the
those did
on the
real
Facebook
well,
page.
didn't
Yeah, they did great. They did big numbers, big time numbers. I don't know. It's just a lot.
You got to kind of be on your.
You got to be on your toes. Exactly. Sometimes you'll end up with like 15 cotter pins in your back pocket at the end of the day. Destroy some pockets when you put them in the washer, but it's all good. We get back paid.
That usually comes from baggy pants, though.
Yeah, exactly.
You learned your lesson on that. Huh?
Yep.
How about leaving a phone around?
You can't leave your phone around here.
Well, nowadays nobody can go anywhere without a phone, and this, the younger crew. It's tough to deal with them because they live on that phone. So we kind of do them some favors, I would call it.
Big time favors.
When they leave the phone, like making new friends on Facebook. And you were quick enough to put a code on your phone.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
It's the simplest code in the book, but it works.
Didn't I even tell you the code the other day?
I think you did. Yeah, you guessed it off rip.
Yeah.
Either you guessed it or you got some insider information.
I think it's watching the cameras and watching you access the phone.
We got Big Brother over here.
Yeah,
He's
makes it easier. So a fun time here, huh? You've enjoyed the first year?
Oh, no, it's great. It's really been a blessing. I love it. I came in here not really knowing much about the marine industry other than kind of like the fishing side. I grew up here in Tampa. I did a lot of fishing with my dad when I was younger. When I got to Japan, that's when I really started getting into the offshore stuff, really hitting it hard. And once I got back to Tampa, kind of hit a little bit of a rut, really wasn't finding something that fit me. I was doing this vending job and, some other stuff, and it was just like waking up every morning, and I didn't want to go do it. But I wake up every morning now, I come in here with a smile on my face. This industry is like, I love it. I love everything about it. I think I've learned a good deal in the past year, and I know there's still a lot more to be learned, but I'm all for it. This is awesome.
Zeke came in, I probably hired about, I'd say 15 people over the last few years and gotten rid of 14 of them just because of work ethics, just the way they conduct themselves and not really being a fit in T.A. Mahoney and being able to take care of somebody. Zeke, your background, you're Cuban.
Yeah, both
so
parents.
Speaking Spanish has been a blessing for Mahoney's. Our community, our Spanish community here in Tampa has been strong for many, many years, probably since the 40s and 50s. And just being able to reach out to those people with somebody, we got Doug that he speaks what I call as Spanglish. So he learns one word in Spanish, and when you say that word to somebody who's Spanish and then they reply, he has no chance of even replying to what they're saying because they think he knows Spanish just by hola or whatever he comes up with.
You only need to know 3 words: Grampas, Tornillo, and what's the other one he knows? Eje. That's all you need, man.
And that's his 3 words, and he does good. Doug is one of our great guys here. He's a great leader. He's worked with Zeke quite a bit, and really in the last year I've seen Zeke really perform good in this industry, and especially here at TA Mahoney Company. You were talking about fishing overseas when you were in the military. What kind of fishing did you do there? Off the boats or?
So we did a lot of offshore. Okinawa, Japan, it's a very unique place for fishing. In the South Pacific, really, you get it's really world-class fishing. You can fish for mahi from the cliff sides. Sometimes you got a 60-foot drop, and you're out there slinging an 80-gram blade jig, just pushing it all day.
Now
just
you're
for that
actually
one mahi.
60 feet above the water.
Right off the cliff side.
And what's crazy is you were telling me that right off the beach, basically, you catch mahi, dolphin.
Yep, exactly that.
That's
right there up on the shoreline.
And what's your biggest one out there?
34 or 36 pounds.
Yeah, that's a monster. Was that a bull or a cow?
I wouldn't be able to tell you.
That's what a big bull looks like with the big flat head.
No, he was skinny.
Yeah, the head skinny. That's going to be, but still a beautiful fish.
No, big, huge fish. Really beautiful colors. She's like teal and yellow.
Yep. In a lot of cases,
I really wish I had him on this phone, but the iCloud didn't sync, and I lost 3/4 of my fishing photos from Okinawa.
Right. Was most of that offshore? Or did you fish?
Most of it was offshore. So for the cliffside, like mahi jigging and all that stuff, it's really difficult to do outside of the fall months. In the fall months, they have I don't know if it's a mating or feeding, whatever, but through those months, they'll pass through the island, and they'll just kind of hang around and eat up bait fish all day. And in those months, it's easier to do. But most of your stuff is offshore, and then we do reef fishing for coral trout. It's more like a grouper. It's not really a trout. It's it's red and it's got all these blue little spots on them. Really interesting fish. Tastes delicious.
What's the best eating fish over there that
wahoo,
you caught?
Hands down.
Wahoo?
Wahoo for sure.
Now you caught those from the beach
From the boat.
Oh, from the boat.
Yeah, that's from a boat. But you can get them off the cliff sides too. Those are just a little more rare. Mostly it's going to be mahi, mac tuna, and I know some folks have done sailfish.
Wow.
Yeah, just an incredible place to fish. I feel like I got spoiled out there with the fishing.
Because now here, it over there?
Oh yeah, the fishing over there is I don't want to say it's better than over here, but way more accessible. And you got big game fish for a quarter of the cost.
Right. You're not going as far, it seems like.
No, not at all.
Yeah, so the money's quite a bit different for fishing. They hadn't really caught up to what we got here and how much you have to spend to get offshore here. Shoot, you can burn easily a couple 100 gallons a day here on a day trip.
Oh, yeah.
So there's a lot different. You're not running as far.
Yeah, no, you pay $175 for an 8-hour trip. Try paying $175 for 8 hours here in Tampa. You're not going to find it.
No, they'll be wanting 175 tip.
Just to shake his hand.
For the 13-year-old that's mating for the guy who shouldn't even need a mate. But
yeah.
I better not say that too loud.
Who needs a mate on an 18-foot boat?
That's funny about these tarpon. Have you ever been to Boca Grande?
I haven't yet.
But you were raised right here in Clare Mill, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And the Billy Ferry thing, when he came to work here and he told me where he lived, I said, well, that was right around the corner from Billy Ferry, and that was probably before you were born, wasn't it?
Yeah, way before I was born.
Yeah.
They already threw him under the jail before I was born.
Yeah, he didn't have any idea about that, but really has just fit right in. Now, since you've been back and you've met a few people here and learning a little bit, what kind of fishing are you doing around here?
Well, right now I'm doing a lot of fishing with old Lucas. And we're hitting Cockroach Bay, really just inshore stuff. So, snook, trout, reds. Well, that's the thing.
You go to Lucas's spot, right?
Yeah, we go to Lucas's spot, and this is what he claims. He claims that every time we go out, we get skunked or we only get catfish and ladyfish because we're going after work, and the tides of this and the tides that.
Always an excuse.
Always
isn't
an
it?
excuse. But when he goes out by himself,
He kills it.
the next morning he comes back, Mike, 19 keeper reds and two snook and 1 trout or whatever.
No
And
witnesses,
it's
no
witnesses.
pictures.
And what I feel like it is it's either one, it might be the tides, and I could be wrong there, or 2, he's gatekeeping the honey holes.
That's got to be
I know
what
he's
it
doing
is.
it. I know he's doing it.
Well, first of all, Lucas is a 19-year-old that I got working part-time for me. And I don't know how many really fishing holes he could have that somebody didn't give him. So to label something that's his honey hole, that seems a little odd to me. Huh?
Everybody's crabbing with the spots, and that's the funny thing. There's not a spot in Tampa Bay that hasn't been fished.
That's
and
for
we
sure.
know that. And that's going down to Apollo Beach. That's down Bradenton. That's this whole coast. There ain't a spot nobody's fished. So I just don't understand what the hoopla is about gatekeeping the spots. I'm going to find it eventually, man. You know what I mean? One day you're going to post a story on Instagram or Facebook.
Boom, you're going to
Boom,
spot
I got that
tree.
coastline. I know that power line.
That's
You know what
right.
I mean? And that's it. After that, you're baked chicken.
Yeah, that's exactly the way it works out. Well, how about fishing when you were a kid? You grew up in Claremont. Did you do any fishing then before the military?
Yeah, so my dad, he used to take me fishing before he passed, and he used to have a boat. And we'd go out, we'd hit spots, but most of the stuff was like bridge fishing. So, and this was so long ago, I can't even remember if they were successful. But what I do mostly remember is waking up at the butt crack of dawn. It's not even light outside yet, and I'm getting in the truck with my dad to go. I will never forget those experiences. That's what really got me in love with it, was him. He brought me out. You're out there early in the morning. It's cold. It might be raining or whatever. You might be tired, but you're out there with your dad. And you're out on the water.
Stuff you'll remember forever.
Exactly. Nothing better you can ask for.
I was probably one of the worst. My dad would take me offshore grouper fishing, and we were in a 16-foot wooden boat, and we'd go out there to 120, 140 foot of water and just take our time to go out there. But I was one that would get up early and open one eye, walk all the way to the car, climb in the back seat, fall asleep.
Mm-hmm.
Then he'd wake me up at the ramp. I'd get up. I'd go in the boat. First thing I did was lay down. And I usually didn't get up till he threw a grouper on me. That's what he used to do. He'd throw that grouper right next to me, flipping and flopping around, and say, "Let's go. Fish are here. Let's start catching them." And I was kind of
get to work.
I didn't really have to go through all the stuff. I just slept most of the time as a kid. But like you said, those times will be in my mind forever. Fishing with my dad, fishing with my family. My brother and sisters, they didn't really like it too much. I think my mom's probably been fishing 1 or 2 times, and both times just read a book.
Yeah.
The whole time while everybody else fished. But it definitely was a good time and good family. So it's no big fish back then when you were a kid that stick out in your mind?
Not that I can remember. And that's just honest to God. I really can't remember us ever bringing in fish. Well, now we might have,
but the effort was there.
The effort was definitely there. I remember we would go at nighttime with a cast net around like retention ponds. I can't remember where exactly, but we would like use cast nets on tilapia, dude. And we would fill up like 2-3 coolers of tilapia, and I don't know what he'd do with them. I think he'd sell them.
I got you. Y'all never ate them?
We probably did. I hope not.
They wouldn't tell you. I know my dad was a big secret with that. He would fillet stuff and skin stuff, and you couldn't tell what it was, and he'd tell you it's the opposite of what you think it is, and you'd end up eating it, and then he would tell you.
Yeah,
no matter what it was.
I grew up eating fish that Cubans ate, man. A lot of tilapia and salted cod. Bacalao. Yeah. If those who know, they know. Bacalao with rice and a fried egg, you can't beat it.
Now, you still got family back in Cuba?
Oh, yeah. I got a quite good amount of family in Cuba. I got my great-grandfather. He's still back there. A couple cousins, couple great aunts, I guess you could call them. And then some younger cousins. You know, a couple still back there. They're going through it right now with the whole energy crisis thing, but we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, hopefully it'll go good. Have you been there?
Yeah,
and seen them?
I've been there twice. The last time I went there, I was 17 years old, and from even when I went back then, when I was 17, the island was still bad. You know what I mean?
And what do you mean by bad?
Just the economic situation, the food situation,
poverty,
infrastructure. Yeah. It's all just dilapidated, really run down. You know, they're not lying on the news when they say like this place actually does suck. You know, communism does not work. Medicines, food, electricity, all things are scarce.
What's amazing is my daughter, one of her best friends is Cuban, and after high school, they went to Cuba to see with her family. And I know there's different places that are more touristy than others, but she had gone away from those tourist areas where the family was, in little villages and different things. And one thing she said are the people are just incredibly nice. They care, you know, there's a lot of morals there, good morals that those families have. And it really makes you focus on that kind of stuff. And it's, you know, it would be survival for most of us here, you know, having to go through that. But, and your dad came here from Cuba?
Yep.
Your mom and your dad?
Yeah, both my parents came from Cuba. They didn't come together, though. They met here in Tampa. My dad, from his story, is they came on a raft. And then, about halfway through, 3/4 of the way through, they got picked up by the Coast Guard and then dropped off in Miami. And then he made his way up to Tampa. My mom, what she got was there was like a lottery system going back then to where you could fly here on a plane. Boom, she touched down, lived in Pennsylvania for a while, came down to Tampa, and then they met in Tampa, and then they had me maybe like a year and a half later.
That's awesome, man. That's a great story, and I'm glad everything worked out, and you ended up here with T.A. Mahoney Company because it's worked out good.
No, it's been a blessing.
You fit in with all the fishing, the customers, and a little bit of the joking. I hadn't seen much joking back, but we're waiting on it. You know what I mean? We're kind of keeping our guard up. You don't know where maybe all the cameras are yet. So when you learn that, you realize how you can start messing with people. But it's been a great year, and I appreciate everything you've done. I really wanted to introduce everybody to you because last podcast, we had Brandon Franklin on from Power Pole, and we talked about how Mahoney's was going to start doing the Power Pole warranty. Zeke is the guy who does the warranty. I think we've got in about 14 motors over 2 months' time. So it's not like there's a volume of them, but there's enough of them out there where we're seeing some problems. I would say, a third of those have been problem on the boat and not the motor.
Yeah, most of the problems that I've been seeing, that I've been encountering, is one, really just neglect. Like failure to take care of your stuff, and just little simple things like water intrusion. Not too much crazy stuff, but a lot of stuff from the battery side. One thing that we've really seen is these battery tender plugs.
Hey, you know what? I'm gonna take a break.
We're almost at 20 minutes, not quite yet, but yeah.
I'm gonna take a break, and we're gonna come back and talk about the battery tender plug and some of the problems we've seen that Power Pole has covered, but it's kind of borderline on taking care of your stuff. We'll be right back. All right, we're back. Round 2 with Zeke, the Power Pole move guru. He's learned straight from Power Pole, some of the best guys over there on repair. The motors we've gotten in, I think everyone's been out within a day or a day and a half, complete, finished, done. And we were talking a little bit about some of the problems we have. A lot of times we get problems and it's in the boat. Motors have been brought to us. You test them, they check fine. So it's either going to be that TMU lithium battery that you bought, or garage sale wiring, or solid core, something.
Solid core.
And we can't really check it out. So if you have a motor that you don't know about the battery system, the wiring, you let your buddy do it because you felt sorry for him and he said he can rig a boat and he's 21 years old, that's fine. Bring that boat to us. We can check the boat as well as we can check the motor. I even had a customer in here that was probably one of the worst plugs I had seen, and I recommended dielectric grease. Well, he instantly showed me on the plug and on the boat where he loads up the dielectric grease. But after a period of time, if you're not constantly on top of it, cleaning it and preventing it, you know, preventive maintenance is everything with salt water, and I don't care if it's a motor, but it's amazing how some of these motors come in when I see you take them apart, and I'll go over there and look at them, and the inside on some of them will be caked with salt, and the next one won't have no salt intrusion. And I think it's the way that people take care of them, because in both instances, I've seen offshore motors, bay boat motors, some corroded, some not. It's nothing that Power Pole's doing. It's the preventive maintenance done by the captain.
Yep.
You know, one of the things about warranty, and Power Pole is probably the best. There's stuff we've seen that we wouldn't warranty.
Yeah.
Strictly abuse, and they covered it. They're not happy about it. They are working their way into that because they don't want to make anybody upset. But, you know, when you put a product out made for salt water, built for salt water, has nothing to do with the components. It has to do with the salt that's caked on there that creates the corrosion. And that's a lot of times what we see is the problem.
You definitely want to have your supplementing hardware able to support those saltwater conditions. And, you know, most folks do fine. You know, silver tinned wire, good lithium batteries, good connectors. And then with that, you rarely ever see problems with the Power Pole.
You know, one of the things you were talking about was how much these trolling motors cost, and they can go. I've had people say, price me a trolling motor, and I say, which one you want? And they go, well, just price me one. Well, trolling motors are $1,500 to $8,000. Which one do you want? You know, different styles, the GPS mode, the long shafts. You know, I would never thought that a titanium shaft would bend. And we saw one in here the other day, and you know, the guy fell on it. He came out and told us that, told Power Pole that, and Power Pole stood right behind it. And it's amazing how good a service those people have. And with the help of Zeke, Mahoney's plans on providing that same service. Like I said, you know, we've only done a handful of trolling motors over a couple months' time, but every one's been within a day or a day and a half. Some of them the same day.
Yeah, super fast turnarounds, real great service.
Yep.
And a big part of that is Power Pole's engineering. The amount of time and effort they've put into the research and development of making this trolling motor, the Power Pole PV, and the ZR, it's insane. Everything is so easy to replace on those trolling motors. It's just a couple screws. Most of them are the same size, number 2 screws. You know, you pop off your components, and everything's just, after that, it's just connections. There's really nothing else to be done. Now, I've heard on the Minn Kota trolling motors, sometimes you got to do a little bit of soldering here and there or whatever. Not with Power Pole. Everything is plug and play when it comes to replacements, and that's helped a lot with getting customers in and out and back on the water as soon as possible.
You know, and one thing I noticed too, Power Pole always says that they kind of built that motor where you could call them, tell them the problem, they can troubleshoot the problem, and they'll send you the part. But one thing I realized looking at a motor this week is everybody's not capable of taking nuts and bolts apart.
Oh, no.
Because you fish and because your boat looks like it does, has nothing to do with your ability to put that thing together.
Some folks are just not handy, but it's okay because I'm here.
Yeah.
And right now, I believe we're covering everybody within a 150-mile radius of Tampa Bay.
That's right.
So, you know, we're covering a lot of land. So
Anything we could ever do. I know one of the things that I really love about Power Pole is any problem that we have, any problem that I see you have, any question that you have, you call that main line and you get a person that understands how that motor's put together. And they do the same for the public. It's not just because we're TA Mahoney Company and we're repairing them so we got some special bat phone that we can call you on. That's not the case. We call the main number, we get through to somebody, and there's always somebody available in engineering, in warranty, whatever it is, that can assist us in putting it back together. And I've even seen it where they say, hold off, we'll be right there.
Yep, and they'll send somebody. They'll be there within 25 minutes. And, sometimes it's Marshall will come down here. Marshall, he taught me everything with the power poles.
Marshall's great
went
guy.
down there
Jason's
for a couple
good
days.
guy.
Jason's great. Joe's come down.
Yeah.
And those are all, you'd think that like most companies, they'd send like some low-level technician guy or something. But no, every single time it has been somebody within Power Pole who really holds some weight and can get things done. And that's really what they care about, is getting things done for the customer, ensuring that the experience is top-notch every time.
Right. We were, one time we dealt direct with Lenco. If a lot of y'all now, the trim tabs are probably on most boats out of the factory is Lenco. At one time we were the warranty for them. But there was not a lot of people and not a lot of support that we could call over there when something was wrong, and they could kind of troubleshoot it for us. That's one thing I noticed right off the bat about Power Pole is it seems like whatever problem there is, they're eager to cure it. They're not just throwing the ball back in my court saying, listen, you're the warranty, you figure it out. It's like they want to help with it, and that's part of doing this repair. So anybody out there with any problems, the season's coming up, you tarpon guides that are out there using them every day, boom, we're here for you. Bring them in. If I can fix it immediately, usually we kind of try to test it right then to tell them what's wrong. If it's going to be something that's a few hours, it's just the way it is.
Yeah.
But hadn't had one problem with parts availability. No problems with got to wait on this or wait on that to get shipped in.
Oh yeah, no problem whatsoever. I mean, I'll tell you, today I had a shaft replacement. So we replaced a shaft and a prop motor. This guy, he had an 84-inch shaft. Power Pole didn't have it in stock. I was talking to
an
Jared.
84 is custom built, right? You
Custom
were telling
built.
me some of them bigger ones have a sleeve inside.
And Jared, he told me, it might be tomorrow that we can get this done for you, but we'll see what we can do. 2 hours later, Jared calls me. Hey, the shaft's ready. They had it cut, milled, everything done, ready to go within 2 hours.
Yeah,
you don't see that in a lot of places.
That's service, and we were able to get that thing put back together, call the customer, and that was something that was brought in at noon today?
Yeah.
And it was done by 4 o'clock. So, and that was even going to get the parts. So keep us in mind. Any problems, any questions, Power Pole still there for the customer. If you got a question, you're welcome to call them. You don't have to call us. But if you're doing a repair, don't forget we're here for you. Call us ahead of time. We can expect you. Have stuff set up, let you know if there's going to be any kind of wait, whether it's an hour or two. Normally, it's like I said before, the Maytag repairman.
Yeah.
We're warranty, and just like a lot of those other motors out there, it seems like all of them, something goes wrong. But when you start looking at Power Pole and the amount that's been sold,
There's
I would say
thousands of
less
them out
problems.
there. Yeah, you're probably 1%,
I have a friend of mine who bought a Minn Kota. He didn't want to, and he bought the Team U battery for next to nothing, and it wasn't too long ago, this week, hopefully he doesn't listen to the podcast, he'll laugh if he does, but he brings it in and he tells me how he's taking care of it. He checked all my work was perfect, and it comes down to this battery. If you're buying a brand new Corvette, let me suggest something to you. Don't put boat trailer tires on it. Well, that's what you're doing with cheap batteries. And that's what you're doing when you order that stuff offline, in my opinion. Because when your trolling motor goes down, and if it's batteries or trolling motor, who are you going to deal with? You know, I had that same friend tell me this week that he's been at the boat ramp 3 or 4 times, and he really hadn't seen that many power pole move trolling motors compared to all the other guys. And I said, okay. I said, well, tonight when you drive home on the interstate, I want you to look for Lamborghinis. And he said, well, I probably won't see one. And I said, well, that's why. Because you don't see a lot of Lamborghinis. You're not going to see a lot of moves. You see a lot more Mustang 6-cylinders and Camaro 6-cylinders, and that's really what I compare the other motors to. You can go on any website, any chat room, and talk about some of the competitors, and the quality's not there. The 2 leading trolling motor companies look like they were built in the same factory. You know, they just changed the molding, changed the name. One of the things that impresses me about that power pole move is it's a metal housing. It's not plastic. You know, you're not going to just break it if a weight hits against it, you know, or whatever. It's not something that's going to give away. It's truly a lifetime motor the way they build it. Will one motor last a lifetime? Probably not. But the components that you can put in there and create a new motor. We had a guy the other day that had a 3-year-old motor, and everything got replaced on that motor because there was a problem. And I think that might have been the guy who didn't know how to work with nuts and bolts and unscrew stuff. But
yeah,
they stood behind it.
Exactly. And that was the one where, like, it was almost like Power Pole was doing him a favor.
Yeah,
it was so abused. It was one of those things where you could tell, like, wow, this is a veteran of, like, World War II or something. Like, this is just in bad shape, man. This thing's seen some
like
stuff.
One of the first ones.
Yeah, for real, like a Tesla or something. But no, Power Pole stood behind it completely. We replaced the board, we replaced the shaft, we replaced the nav head. He got a new trolling motor, and he was back out on the water within 24 hours of dropping it off. And Power Pole, they did all of it. They stood behind it. They gave me all the parts I needed. I think in total, it was like something like $3,000 worth of parts.
Yeah, I believe.
And they stood behind it. All of it,
all warranty,
all covered under warranty.
Almost a 3-year-old motor too. And I can tell you one thing from selling products in our store. This is our 80th year at TA Mahoney Company, and I can't think of any other company that does what they do. And really, you people out there that have the power poles on the back of the boats, we sell so many of them. Boats come factory direct with power poles. There's different companies making, like Bob's Machine, jack plate, best jack plate out there. They got holes in it just for the power pole bracket. That's how big that company's got. But I can tell you honestly that anybody that works there, the furthest thing from cocky, they want to talk to you, they want to hear what you have to say, and they want to take care of you. It's definitely one of the best products. Zeke, I appreciate you doing this podcast with me today. And if any of y'all have a problem with any move trolling motor, give us a call here at TA Mahoney Company. Ask for Zeke. Any of our employees will send you right to him, and we hope to see you soon.